Welcome to aminacademy.com. In human anatomy and physiology, let us talk about stomach. Your stomach is a muscular organ that digests food. It is part of your gastrointestinal, that is GI tract. When your stomach receives food, it contracts and produces acids and enzymes that break down food. When your stomach has broken down food, it passes it to your small intestine. The stomach is a J-shaped organ that digests food. It produces enzymes, that is, substances that create chemical reactions, and acid digestive juices. This mix of enzymes and digestive juices breaks down food so it can pass to your small intestine. Your stomach is a part of the gastrointestinal, that is GI tract. The GI tract is a long tube that starts at your mouth. It runs to your anus, where stool poop is leave your body. The GI tract is a key part of your digestive system. Now we'll discuss further detail. What is the function of stomach? It's temporarily store food, contract and relax to mix the breakdown food, produce enzymes and other specialized cells to digest food. Now we'll discuss further detail about stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped dilated portion of the alimentary tract situated in the epigastric, umbilical and left hypochondriac regions of the abdominal cavity. Structure of the stomach. The stomach is continuous with the esophagus at the cardiac sphincter and with the duodenum at the pyloric sphincter. It has two curvatures. The lesser curvature is short, lies on the posterior surface of the stomach and is the downward continuation of the posterior wall of the esophagus. Just before the pyloric sphincter, it curves upward to complete the J shape. The stomach is divided into three regions: the fundus, the body, and the pylorus. At the distal end of the pylorus is the pyloric sphincter, guarding the opening between the stomach and the duodenum. When the stomach is inactive, the pyloric sphincter is relaxed and open, and when the stomach contains food, the sphincter is closed. Walls of the stomach. The four layers of the tissue that comprises the basic structure of the alimentary canal are found in the stomach but with some modifications. Muscle layer. This consists of three layers of smooth muscles fibers, an outer layer of longitudinal fibers, a middle layer of circular fibers, and inner layer of oblique fibers. In this respect, the stomach is different from the regions of the alimentary tract as it has three layers of muscle instead of two. This arrangement allows for the churning motion characteristics of gastric activity as well as peristaltic movement. Circular muscle is strongest between the pylorus and the pyloric sphincter. Mucosa. When the stomach is empty, the mucous membrane lining is thrown into longitudinal folds or rugae, and when full, the rugae are ironed out, giving the surface of smooth, velvety appearance. Numerous gastric glands are situated below the surface in the mucous membrane and open onto it. They consist of specialized cells that secrete gastric juice into the stomach. Blood supply. Arterial supply to the stomach is by the left gastric artery, a branch of the iliac artery, the right gastric artery, and the gastroepiploic arteries. Venous drainage is through veins of corresponding names into the portal vein. Gastric juice and function of the stomach. Stomach size varies with the volume of food it contains, which may be 1.5 liters or more in an adult. When a meal has been eaten, the food accumulates in the stomach in layers. The last part of the meal remaining in the fundus for some time. Mixing with the gastric juice takes place gradually, and it may be some time before the food is sufficiently acidified to stop the action of salivary amylase. The gastric muscle generates the tuning action that breaks down the bolus and mixes it with gastric juice and peristaltic waves of and propel the stomach contents towards the pylorus. When the stomach is active, the pyloric sphincter closes. Strong peristaltic contraction of the pylorus forces chyme gastric contents after they are sufficiently liquefied through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum in small spores. What is gastric juice? About 2 liters of gastric juice are secreted daily by specialized secretory glands in the mucosa. It consists of water, mineral salts, mucus secreted by mucous neck cells in the glands, and surfaces, mucus cells on the stomach surfaces, hydrochloric acid, intrinsic factor, inactive enzyme precursors. Function of gastric juice. Water further liquefies the food swallowed. Hydrochloric acid acidifies the food and stops the action of salivary amylase, kills ingested microbes, provides acid environment needed for the action of pepsins. Now, for mucus prevents mechanical injury to the stomach wall by lubricating the contents. It also prevents chemical injury by acting as a barrier between the stomach wall and the corrosive gastric juice. Hydrochloric acid is present in potentially damaging concentration, and pepsins would digest the gastric tissues. Now, we'll discuss further detail about a stomach. Look at this. The stomach is a J-shaped muscular organ in the upper left abdomen that digests food by mixing it with the enzymes and acids to create chyme. It consists of four main parts: the cardia, which connects the esophagus, the fundus, a dome-shaped region, the body, the largest part, and in the pylorus, which funnels chyme into the small intestine. Its functions include temporarily storing food, mechanically and chemically breaking it down, and releasing it slowly to further digestions in the small intestine. What is its anatomy? Location. The stomach is in the upper left abdominal quadrant, specifically in the epigastric, umbilical, and left hypochondriac regions. What are the parts Cardia, the area where food enters from the esophagus, is the cardia. Fundus, the dome-shaped upper part of the stomach, is the fundus. Body, the central largest section, this is the body of the stomach. Pylorus, the larger part of that narrows and connects to the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. This connects the duodenum. The four main parts of the stomach are the cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. The cardia is the uppermost section where the esophagus connects. That fundus is a dome-shaped area above it. The body is the large central part, and the pylorus is the final section that connects to the small intestine, controlled by the pyloric sphincter. Shape. It is a typically J-shape but can change depending on a person's build and how full it is. Layers. The stomach wall has four layers: mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and serosa. Curvatures. It has a greater curvature, a long convex curve, and a lesser curvature, shorter concave curve. Physiology and function. What is digestion? The stomach mixed food with a gastric juice, a mixture of hydrochloric acid, enzymes like pepsin, and other substances that begins protein digestion and kill microbes. Mechanical breakdown. The muscular walls churn and mix the food with digestive juices. Storage. It acts as a temporary reservoir, holding food and releasing it gradually into the small intestine to manage the rate of digestion and absorption. Chemical production. It secretes hydrochloric acid to activate pepsins. Pepsin kills bacteria and denature proteins. It also secretes intrinsic factors, which is crucial for vitamins B12 absorption in the small intestine. Hormone secretion. It produces the release hormones such as gastrin, which helps regulate digestion. Chyme formation. The food is broken down into a semi-liquid paste called chyme before it is slowly passed to the small intestine. So far we discussed about human anatomy and physiology regarding stomach. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.